Hello everyone, Josh here with Gotcha Legends, bringing y'all another Infinite Magicraid video. Today we're going to be talking about what is the best DoT debuff in the entire game overall. We're not talking about particular units, but the actual DoT itself. And what I'm referring to is, of course, HP burning, bleed, poison, and of course burn. Now burn has the most question marks that I've seen from a lot of people. They're a little bit confused of how burn actually works because of the detonation effect that happens when you have 2 stacks of burn. They're like, okay, how does that work then? Because a lot of the other ones you can kind of stack them up and then they do like a total damage, but with burns you can only get up to 2 and then they detonate. So long-term value, how well does burn stack up? So we're going to be using Anna here. We're in the preview. We already have her Fire Wave passive already maxed out. That way the numbers don't get skewed or anything like that in this test. Now what's really cool about these tests is these enemies have 0% effect resistance. Our skills are going to be at max level, which means if I do any kind of burn damage, she's going to be basing it off of her base attack that we currently have and 40% additional because of her passive. So if we look here, we long press, in case you didn't know you could do this, ladies and gentlemen, you can actually look at some of the stats here in the battle. You can use this in normal battles as well. You'll see here that our Anna base attack is 1007. And on her skill 2, which this will be the skill we're going to be using for testing, we have a burn here with a 90% chance. Now keep in mind it doesn't show that these are all maxed out, but in the preview these are all maxed out, okay? So 1 layer of burn, there's going to be a 90% chance for this to go off, not 60. So it's not going to always happen, so we might have to do this a few times. Alright, burn. Takes 50% attack damage of the inflictor each turn before action. Stacks 2 layers of status, to get an extra 300%. That means you should be doing 400%, because a lot of people don't know this. It'll be 50 for the first burn, 50 for the second, and then the extra 300. Now, with her passive being completely maxed out right now and already at 10 stacks, which is the max, she should be doing about 40% additional total burn damage, which means if we're doing 400% with the detonation, we should be doing 440%, give or take. So we should be doing a little over 4.4k based on her base attack being 1000 if it works correctly. So let's go ahead and apply a burn. Hopefully we can get a burn to go off on this guy at the very bottom, because we already have one on him. We are at ×1, so we'll see the bonus damage. We'll see if it says 4.4k and some change. There we go, 4,455 damage for burn. So as you guys and gals can see, if you already apply a burn, let's try to do it again. All right, we got 1 burn on the bottom guy again. So as you can see, it'll do, it won't do the detonation until the tick goes off for the second one. Or I'm sorry, it happens immediately. You don't have to wait for the enemy to take their turn. But watch this again. Boom, it detonate, 4455. And what's cool is you don't have to wait for the enemy to do that, which means in terms of like quick, raw DoT damage, burn does very, very well. But how does it stack up to the other debuffs in the game, the other DoT debuffs? Well, I made a quick little mock little description, I guess you could say, or a little mock trial, if you will. We're gonna go over that in a moment, but I just wanted to clarify how burns work, because I know a lot of people are a bit confused on how the detonations are. So again, detonations do not require the enemy to take their turn to go off. As soon as you apply 2 burns, they burst. Boom, you do 400% minimum damage, and any extra depending on what unit you're using, like of course in Anna's case you get an extra 40% on top of that. So hopefully burns are now kind of explained in great detail. Hopefully you're not confused anymore. If you are, let me know in the comment section below, or join our Discord in the description. Now go ahead and do this. All right, there we are. So now we're going to be going over my little mock test, mock trial, whatever you want to call it. DoT damage comparisons mock test. HP burning requires max HP to cap, so one test will have an HP based unit and the others will be attack based, because of course of the 4 dots, 3 of them are all based on attack, unless it's a specialized unit that actually scales it to defense, but the test will apply to them just the same. The mock stats will be based on average A5 units with decent 5-star gear and talent emblem investment. Again, this is not going to be 100% to the T or to the letter accurate, but more or less through various testing, this is kind of the numbers that I've seen happen on average. Mock stats: attack 25,000, HP 350,000. So for the test, we're going to be using a unit that has 25k attack and 350k HP. This does not include exclusive weapon stats, because obviously that's going to vary and it's going to be a little bit more difficult to test those anyways, especially if it's a legendary hero. Since bleed does not hit cap until 10 stacks, to be fair here, we will base each DoT on using 10 full stacks in this mock battle. So basically in this mock battle, we're going to be using 10 stacks worth of damage for all these DoTs in their ideal situations and scenarios. Even burn, which can only go to 2 stacks, we're just going to be basing that damage times 5. HP burning, that can only go to 5 stacks, we're going to be basing that times 2. Hopefully you guys get the idea. So for poison, 25,000 attack would be 25,000 times 10 stacks equals 250,000 total damage. Bleed, because of course poison is based on 100% attack. Bleed, 25,000 times 1.65, which is 165% if you get the 10 stacks. Because remember, bleed, it kind of goes from a min to a max depending on how many stacks you actually have. So in the perfect scenario, let's say you have 10 stacks, you're going to do 165% per tick for a total of 1,650% of your attack. That's going to give you a grand total of 412,500 damage if you got a full 10 ticks off a unit with 25,000 base attack. Burn, which we just tested, 25,000 times 3 equals 75,000 times 5 equals 750,000 min. Now, the reason why I put that there is because before I did the test myself personally, I was not sure if the extra 50% times 2 from both individual burn ticks also was applied to the 300% bonus that you get when they detonate. But now that we know that, you can just completely ignore that one and look at the other one, where it's going to be 25,000 attack times 400% equals 100,000 damage times 5, because again, you can only get 2 stacks at a time, and then we're going to do this up to 10, so times that by 5, you're going to get 500k. This is based on burn detonations at 2 stacks. HP burning, 350,000 HP times 0.3, which would be 30% of your max HP for a grand total of 105,000 damage times 10 for a maximum 1,050,000. So it is extremely huge. Now, keep in mind, I have some context down here because a lot of you are going to be like, oh, well, HP burning does 8% of max HP. That's true, but we're basing this on its max capabilities. So you're going to be facing enemies that have much, much higher HP than you, which means the cap will not be based on 8% of HP of the enemy, but 30% of your user's HP. So that's why we wanted the context here. HP burning will scale much lower on lower HP enemies and much higher on boss level enemies with millions of HP. The numbers above showcase HP burning at its cap on a hero with the mock HP stat. Example, if the enemy is say 100k HP, a HP burn will only do 8% of that for a whopping 8k damage. 10 of those is only 80k. Because again, HP burning works 2 ways. It's going to be max HP of the enemy, or it's gonna cap out based on your HP. And that's when your HP burn is gonna be doing its peak damage, and why I use that in the actual comparisons for the formulas. So HP burning could be one of the worst DoTs in the game, or it could be one of the best, depending on the HP of the enemy you are facing and the HP of the user applying the debuff in the first place. Kind of similar to how bleed, the more bleed you have, the better it does. The less bleeds, the worse it does. Poison is just base damage no matter what. And burn has the best burst damage of all of these overall, which was very surprising when I did these numbers. Bleed getting higher with each stack to cap at 165%, but on average, most single bleed users will float around 4 to 5 stacks consistently. Thus, bleeds will be more around 90 to 105% instead of the peak of 165%. Kind of similar to what I just explained when it comes to HP burning. In conclusion, HP burning is the best overall damage output on higher HP enemies by a large margin. But if you want to take out waves of mobs quickly, it seems burn is the answer. So hopefully you guys all enjoy videos like this. This was a lot of work to make. Did a lot of playthroughs, a lot of testing and stuff like that. Hope you guys do enjoy. Don't forget to go ahead and subscribe, check notifications, join the Discord in the description below as always. And don't forget to like the video. We need to make our boy Gio, our Blue Dragon mascot here on the channel, nice and fat with all that love so he's good for the winter. Until next time, as always, peace.